listen to people talk about kids and what kids are like, and I was always like, these people are adults. They don't know what kids are like. We know what kids are like because we're kids, although I'm probably 9 or 10 years older than a lot of you. I am in 10th grade at Lane High School, so a lot is different since I was your age, but I still know how it is to be a kid. Like, who here likes to watch cartoons? Like Adventure Time, Steven Universe? I watch those shows. Or who here likes to play Pokemon? I'm happy that it's still a lot of you. But back when I was a kid, we played Pokemon. We had our Game Boys and we were connected with a cable. We couldn't be miles apart. And who here likes, say, like Monster High dolls? Someone's that. Yeah, see? I like Monster High. I got a Monster High phone case. So yeah, I know how it is to not have older people get you, and I know how it is to be talked at, not to, by older people that don't understand how it is you guys think and what it is you're going through. And because I am a lot older than you guys, I might not exactly understand the best, because when I was in school, at your guys' age, it was a lot different than when you guys are. But I'm going to try my best. So I just want you to know, this is not going to be me preaching at you. This is not going to be me telling you guys how to think. This is just me saying, this is how I think, and this is what I've been through, and this is what I've seen, and this is how I am because of it. So if you want to go back a bit in my life, to about 5th grade, I was 10. In about December, that was
2011.
No, it wasn't.
2010?
2009, I believe.
Oh.
I don't know what happened, but I developed a compulsive disorder, which means basically an action that you do that you can't control. Like, who here shakes their leg when they sit and they don't know they're doing it and can't help it? Or chew on their pencil, or tap their fingers. A lot of people do that, except for me, it was pulling my hair. And that's a thing called Trichotillomania. It has multiple versions, some worse for people, some not. Some people pick their skin, I pull my hair. And some people only do their eyelashes, some people do their eyebrows, or their body hair, or their head hair. But I can't help it. It's something that I do without thinking about, that I can't help it. And it really bothered me at first, you know. It bothered me being the kid who everyone always asked, why don't you have eyebrows? And it bothered me being the kid who looked different than everyone, but couldn't quite explain why, because they knew that people wouldn't always understand. So I lost my eyelashes in about 5th grade. Eventually soon came my eyebrows, and then over that summer, going from 5th grade into 6th grade, that's when the hair on my head started to go. It was just something I couldn't control, didn't think much about, and it caused a lot of people in my life a lot of stress. So into 6th grade, people started being mean to me, and I never really understood what the point of being mean to someone for something they can't help was, because it was just part of who I am. It's like, say you like mac and cheese. Someone thinks you're gross for liking mac and cheese. You can't help that you like mac and cheese. It's just part of who you are, right? Plus, mac and cheese is awesome. So I always thought, hey, I'm just gonna be me, and if you don't like me, then that's your problem. It's not my problem. Sure, tell me if you have a problem with me. Don't go spreading lies about me. But in the end, if you do have a problem with me, I'm likely not gonna care if you do, because it's part of who I am, and I can't help that. So a lot of people caught on to that idea, but a lot of people didn't understand it at first. So I took it upon myself to tell more people in a way that was easier for me to do. See, I'm not exactly, and this may sound weird because I'm going to talk
they don't even know you. All they see is scars. They don't see the angel living in your heart. Let them find the real you buried deep within. Let them know with all you've got that you are not your skin. When they start to judge you, show them your true colors and do unto others as you'd have done to you. Just rise above this, kill them with your kindness. Ignorance is blindness. They're the ones that stand to lose. 'Cause they don't even know you. All they see is scars. They don't see the angel living in your heart. Let them find the real you buried deep within. Let them know with all you've got that you are not your skin. Well, they don't even know you. All they see is stars, and they don't see the angels living in your heart. So let them find the real you buried deep within. Let them know with all you've got you are not your skin.
And so basically, that's what I made to at first tell my friends and people I knew what was up, because I wasn't the best at writing it or singing it loud. Eventually, more people picked up on it, and people really liked it. And even the people that wrote the song that was playing, some of my favorite musicians, huge inspirations to me, picked up on the song and said that I captured what this song was about perfectly by my video. And now I'm even friends with the guys in the band. You see here, this is the bassist in the band and the drummer from his other band, and I got to meet them a while ago, and their concert here is actually on Sunday, and I got to meet all of them and hug them and talk a little bit. So some other awesome things that happened from that. I started looking into things on the internet that were relevant to what I thought about and things like that. I found a campaign that was called the Bold and Beautiful Barbie campaign, and basically the point of it was to get the people that make Barbies to make bald dolls. Well, eventually, the first thing that happened was this image got popular, which was a Bratz doll edited to not have hair and to have hair. And I thought, hey, I dress a lot like that doll. So what I did was I assembled an outfit that looked like a doll and got my microphone stand and everything and recreated the picture. And people thought that was really cool. And apparently it pushed in a lot of people's minds to let them see, hey, this actually matters to real people, you know. It's not just things that it's not just something adults want because they think kids need to learn. It's something kids want too. Dolls that look like them, like people have American Girl dolls that look like them, right? I don't know if those are still things kids play with, but I've been a kid for a long time. So yeah, that image got popular. And then eventually what happened was the people that made Bratz dolls saw that. And they decided that they were going to make both Moxie Girl dolls and Bratz dolls that were bald and have proceeds of the sales of them go to help kids with cancer. And so they were available for a while. And that's what this is. This is one of them. Funny enough, her name is Chloe. She's the Chloe doll. And even though it's spelled differently. And the people that make Bratz dolls even sent me one that was dressed like the one in the picture I just showed you. they accept me as a little more like me with my eyes and more of my hair color. It had a wig on it. It was like bleach blonde. It was awesome. It's on my shelf in my room. So yeah, and then eventually, piggybacking on that success, Barbie finally decided to do it. But you know, Barbie is a bit set in her ways, so technically it's a friend of Barbie, which I thought was dumb. But so this is Ella, and they donated a bunch of Ella dolls to kids that have cancer in hospitals. It wasn't necessarily for people that had the condition that I had, but these dolls did help a lot, and a lot of littler kids that have it, they liked it and it helped them, or people with kids in general that needed to learn that, hey, some people look different, some people look like this. And yeah, so that happened, and so eventually people really liked the success of all the things I was doing to talk about what I was passionate about. So I was on the news a lot, here in Minnesota a lot, but I was on the news in Texas, and for about an hour-long program, they interviewed the singer from the band that was playing, and the program actually won an Emmy Award, which is basically the highest award you can get for a TV show. So we won an Emmy Award for the news that we were on. And so recently, things have died down a bit, been pretty busy with school, but I still talk a lot about, you know, like accepting people. I was even part of a modeling campaign about, you know, just people that look different. So here's one of my photos from that. My eyeliner's a bit big there, I don't know how I feel about that. But it's really edited too. But yeah. So I was part of a campaign for that, and people asked me to do new things to help people accept themselves, accept others, do all that kinds of stuff every day. Like I'm here now. I was asked to do this. So I did. And yeah. So there's a lot of exciting things to come in the future, I hope, and that's my story and that's what's happened in the past. So anyone have any questions? You?
You skipped a picture.
We did? Oh, yeah.
This one?
That one. Yeah.
That one?
That's just all the dolls together. These are the Moxie dolls, and these are the Bratz dolls. I like this one's outfit the best. But if this one was wearing red and black, I would like that one the best. Her shoes are also different there than they are in the real doll. Unless I changed those, I don't remember. But yep. You?
So you're like famous or something?
I mean, if you want to call it that, I don't like to think I'm famous. I mean, I still go to school just like everyone else. I don't make money off of people thinking I'm cool. I just do it because I think it's important, things that need to be said, and that's just what I do. If I could make money doing something like this someday, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. But personally, I want to be a musician or a fashion designer. So.
Do you guys know where Antarctica is?
Who doesn't?
Well, I was going to tell them, when your video first came out, she got a message from someone at the weather station down there saying they saw her video. So that's how quickly things can go around the world. And it has been seen in over 140 countries so far. That's almost every country in the world. So.
You in the front?
Has it been a very, very hard time for you?
I had a lot of hard times, especially because I don't mean to say anything bad about my family, but my mom wasn't very understanding that I was fine with how I looked and that I didn't feel the need to change that about myself. So my mom was constantly trying to get me to quit pulling my hair and wear wigs and wear makeup that made me look like a normal person and those kinds of things. But I think making that video, eventually she realized, hey, my kid's my kid. She's going to be herself no matter what. And you can't change that. And I mean, people here, your parents probably make you wear outfits you don't like to take photos or things like that, right? And that's the worst, isn't it? But parents are always going to be like that. And someday, if they don't realize it, they don't. But you're you. Only you can make choices for yourself. People can influence those choices, but ultimately, you're making the choices on what you believe. You're making the choices on those things. So I did have a lot of a hard time accepting myself when someone very close to me didn't accept me. But eventually I decided, hey, if she doesn't get it, she doesn't get it. I'm just going to keep doing it myself, and that's what I'm going to do. You? You know, that's hard to think, because especially going from 5th grade into 6th grade, there's you guys have 6th grade in your school, so it's a bit different. But when I went into 6th grade, it was 3 different elementary schools combining together. There were a lot of people I didn't know. There was a lot of new social things that people had, like people started getting all antsy about boyfriends and that stuff. So I felt different, but I always felt that I had an edge to myself that because I was different, it made me more interesting. And so I did feel ugly, and sometimes everyone has those days where they're like, dang, I just need to not get out of bed today. I do not look human. But yeah, I don't really feel ugly, not anymore. I did for a while, but I realized that I was who I was, and I could only be me. So I didn't have any reason to get upset about who I was, because I'm the best me I could be. So, you?
How old are you?
I'm 15. I will be 16 in June. So I'm in 10th grade. So I'm in high school. And yep. You in the blue? Huh? Huh?
Well, she said you might pull your eyelashes, but you can't pull them if you don't have any.
Yeah. I mean, they grow back. Hair grows back. It's kind of what it does. You get an ugly haircut, it grows back eventually, you know? So, even if it comes out, it comes back because, you know, like how cats and dogs, they shed? Humans do that too. Humans shed their hair, but it's not as noticeable. You're not covered in your hair constantly. But yeah, if you don't have hair, you have no hair to pull out, and that can be a really anxious situation and very frustrating sometimes. You agree? Yeah. Huh? I can't hear you. Can you speak up, please? My birthday, I was born on June 12th, so right after school gets out, sometimes just a day after. I've never had my birthday in school, ever. 1999, so I was born last century. I'm old. Alright, you in the back of the hoodie? I don't think that's true. I think that, I mean, there are some people that have done things to me that made me never want to talk to them again. And that's my choice. And it's your choice, guys' choice. Include everyone. But if someone does something mean to you and someone just makes you feel uncomfortable to be around, you don't have to be around them. You don't have to listen to them. Unless, of course, it's someone like a teacher. But even still, if you're having problems with your teacher, you should probably tell your teacher or your parents or something like that. So I do think that everybody has redeemable qualities, but in the end, it really goes to show, hey, if I was on TV and you only want to be friends with me because of that, you know, what does that say about you? But I think what I was trying to say is that people saw how I saw myself, and they were less judgmental because of it. They're like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense to, you know, not treat people like that. Sometimes people just need a little eye awakening, you know? You over there? Wave your hand. Sure. I love making costumes. I like making costumes that you see in like TV shows, so like things cartoon characters wear. I like to look at that and I like to make it. So I think if I wasn't a musician or a fashion designer, I would like to make costumes, or maybe be a writer of some sort. Yeah, I don't know. I just like making things. I don't think I could be happy with like sitting at a desk and filing papers all day. I would have to be making something. I'd have to be making the papers that need to be filed, you know? You in the blue? Give me your hand. Yeah. Yeah, if you look at me, you can tell the side of my head is kind of patchy and a little, well, mostly gone. And up here, there's like a bit of shorter hair on my head. But almost like all of the side and the front and back is grown in. I've been able to control my pulling a lot better. I started a new medication recently that helps me calm down a bit more and makes me want to do it less. But it is a thing I have, and I think that even if I do fully recover, I'll still probably have the urges someday. I probably won't ever look back and be like, hey man, remember when I used to do that? It's probably going to always be a part of me, and probably always going to be something that I have to deal with that's hard for me, but it's just something I have to deal with. You and the red and the gray? You? Yeah.
Do you have any friends?
I did, and a lot of my friends I was friends with in 6th grade, I'm still friends with now. They're the kids you see that wear big boots and dye their hair crazy colors and don't care what anyone says about them. They're not the kind of people, I don't know, I guess they're not what you'd call normal people. Most of them got problems in their head too, and I love my friends a lot, and they've been there with me through a lot, and most of them I was friends with because they thought I was interesting and cool. The people that were mean to me back in 5th and 6th grade are the people that I don't really talk to anymore. A lot of my friends I had in 5th grade weren't my friends anymore in middle school and were actually pretty mean to me. But yeah, I did have friends, and I still do have friends. Just not, I've made a lot of friends on the internet. Use internet safety, but the internet can be a good place to make friends sometimes, too. So, pen pals and whatnot. You in the purple? I make all kinds of things. I really like to make skirts, and I like to make like big weapons people had in shows. And yeah, I don't know. I just like to look at an outfit and think, okay, well, how would that work in real life? And then I think about it, and I go, all right, that's what I need to do, and then I do it. It's just kind of how my brain works. I think in 3D. A lot of people, like people that are good at drawing, they're good at thinking in 2D and applying that to drawing. I think in 3D. I can see something and I can look at it and I can figure out how it was made. So, you in the gray, Plants vs. Zombies.
What's your favorite subject in school?
Oh, that's hard. I really like reading a lot, but subjects get a lot different when you get into high school, because it's like you have like reading where you learn how to read and you learn how to read things you like to read. In high school, it's like you have to read this book and you don't have time to read anything else. But yeah, I probably like reading the most. I really liked art classes too, except I really didn't like being told what to draw or what to make. But I like anything that has you making things. I also like learning about animals a lot. I love animals. Alright, you in the back? By the table? Yeah. I do. I play bass guitar, and I used to play cello, which is like the big violin.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, and I also have done choir since 7th grade, but I've been singing my whole life. So, yep, I do play instruments. I am trying to learn how to play keyboard right now. And if any of you guys are in music lessons, I totally tell you to stay with it, because when you get older, it only gets harder to learn instruments. So if you're in it, even if you think it's hard, stick with it, because you won't regret it later, especially if you like music now. You in the red?
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is red, funny enough. Yeah, red and black. I really like wearing red and black together. I also really like wearing black and white together. And I like pink a lot too. I like a lot of colors. It just kind of, for me, it more depends on what the color's on than the color itself. Most of the things I like the boots I like, they're all black, so I wear black boots. That's just kind of how it is. So many. You in the back in the flannel shirt, the plaid? Yeah. The weird thing about eyebrows is that even if you don't have eyebrows, the way your skull is, it comes out like a ridge here. So you have the shape of eyebrows, and you also have the muscles that it's like you can move your eyebrows and it looks like you're moving eyebrows. But you don't really have, I don't have much hair there, just a little bit. That kind of makes it look like I have more. But my eyebrows have always been super dark and my hair has been super light. So it was always kind of weird. But yeah, I look like I have eyebrows and I move my face like I have eyebrows. But that's mostly just because I don't, but I can. Do you have a continuation or?
How did they fall out?
It just comes out. I don't want anyone in here to start developing anything. I don't want anyone here to go and be like, I wonder how that is, and start pulling their hair out. But it just eventually it doesn't hurt anymore, and it just kind of, you just do it without thinking. You in the gray?
Me?
Yeah.
You sing for us.
What do you want me to sing?
Whatever you want.
What should I sing? Well, I didn't have choir today, so I'm not very warmed up. But I could sing like Happy Birthday or something. Is it anyone's birthday?
Okay.
It's someone's birthday in the world. All right. I'm a bit dry from talking, so. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear whoever. Happy birthday to you. Yep.
How common is your condition?
They say like 1 in every 30 or 40 people have it, but that's mostly just diagnosed. Some people just do it a little bit without thinking, or there's very similar things like people just do it a little bit, like just say like a hair on one of their hands or whatever. But I have met a lot of people that have it at least minorly. People with OCD tend to have it a lot. People that have ADHD or ADD tend to develop it too. Some people, that's all they have. They have no other mental things, but some people, it's with a lot of other things, and I have a lot of other things too.
It's like 2 to 3% of the population.
Yeah.
So
You in the black?
Do you still get picked on?
You know, when I meet new people or I go out in public, especially because, I mean, I'm dressed pretty calm today, but usually I'm like big leather jackets and big boots and bandanas on my head and fancy makeup and all that kind of stuff. People do stare at me a lot, and I do get a lot of offhand comments, like points at me or like, what is she wearing, that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's to the point where like people go out of their way to make me feel bad about myself. People don't, like back in middle school, people spread rumors about me. They made up reasons why I did things I did and that I did things I didn't. People don't really do that anymore, at least not that I know of. It's mostly because I've started associating myself with better people that wouldn't do that to their friends. So I do in public, people that don't know me, but people that do know me or people that see me a lot don't really question it anymore. I'm just Chloe to them. So, you in the blue in the back? You, yeah. It's not. Cancer, what happens with cancer is you get really, really sick. And the cells in your body, they start making bad ones, and bad things happen. And the way they treat that is by a medicine that basically attacks most of the cells in your body. But unfortunately, because of that, it means it attacks your hair too, and your hair falls out. But I'm not sick. It's just something that happens to me, and I can't control it. I don't get sick from it. I don't throw up. I couldn't die. It's nothing like that. I'm not in any danger. But people with cancer do relate a lot to people with trichotillomania, and there's also another condition called alopecia where people lose some or all of their hair. So, yeah. You look like you're very excited. The weird thing about it is, I'm not a hair doctor, so I can't do this explanation justice. But you know how, like, I guess the best way I could describe it, like if you punch a hole through a piece of paper, right? And you stick your finger in and out of there enough, the hole gets bigger and it gets easier to do. That's basically what it's like with your hair follicles. So if you pull your hair out enough, it gets easier and easier to do, and it doesn't hurt as much. And again, I don't advise any of you guys do that, but it's just the science of what happens. You in the pink and black? Huh? No, it's kind of like, the way I think of it is, you know how you really like something or you think something really fun It's just kind of the way it is in your brain. That's what it is. Like, say I like the color black. I don't know why I like the color black, but I do. I pull my hair out. I don't know why I do, but I do. It's just in my brain. Okay, in the green, you look very excited. Some people actually even recognize me from like the news and the internet and stuff in public, and so sometimes that's why they're staring at me. Or some people stare at me because they think what I'm wearing is really cool or something like that. And some people just like, some people come up to me and are like, hey, do you have this? Is this what's going on? And I can just explain it to them. And I actually like it better when people ask me what's going on, because then, you know, they're not making assumptions about me, and I can just say, all right, one more question. You in the red, you'd really want it.
When you pull out your hair, does it hurt?
At first, it's kind of like when people comb their hair, and you know how it gets all tangled in a brush sometimes, and you're just kind of yanking it through, and it comes out, and you're like, ow, that really hurt. It was like that, or like when your brother or sister pulls your hair when you're messing with them, something like that. It hurts like that, but yeah, it hurts at first, but after a while it doesn't. I think that's all the time we have, right?
Thank you, Chloe,
Yep.
very